Welcome back to another episode of the Briefcase of the Barn with me and Gary, a series of the Furious and Curious show, where we talk about business, life, Christianity, and more. Episode 41, election special, election results special. Talk about the results. It's Monday night. Looks like the Liberals.
April 28th.
Yeah, looks like the Liberals have.
It is a little daunting because this is kind of like the way the hockey games have been lately in the NHL, the playoff games. Like 2-goal leads obliterated in the last minute. I'm like, hey. I just saw on Twitter somebody posted maybe the advanced polling stations will win the Person of the Year award, and there will be some type of.
It is close. What is it right now? 9 seats.
Yeah, I haven't looked in a bit. I was at family, just hanging out, looking. What's your gut feeling?
Liberals minority.
Yeah.
That was your guess too, wasn't it?
Oh, somebody asked me what I actually thought. They said I was like my typical weather vane political self on the podcast that we talked about it. I mean, yeah, there's lots of like interesting things that stood out to me. Mainly I'm sure anybody that follows politics, I am a little worried that everything we say now could be totally wrong in hindsight because you just never know.
We're just going with what we got now.
We're just going with what we got. That's fair. I mean, really what stood out to me was the obliteration of the NDP. And the thing that brought about was that the Conservative Party had the most popular vote, I think, that they've ever had, ever. And then they still didn't even win a minority, right?
Because they got a majority with 39% of the vote.
Yeah, in 2011, Stephen Harper, right? So, yeah, the Conservative Party depends on vote splitting. And there was almost a two-party system here in Canada outside of the bloc, really.
Yeah.
Other than 10 seats or so. And it was interesting that the NDP, it looks like they'll lose their official party status, which, I mean, there again, somebody at the party we were at there tonight said, the Liberal Party is the NDP. And to some degree that's true. And that's also problematic for the Liberal Party, I think, because a lot of people are, in a lot of ways, very fiscally responsible that are Liberals, right? They're business people. They're people that are like, hey, you just can't keep spending like this.
Yeah.
But in this case, it just didn't seem to matter, and that's what's fascinating. I guess that's what truly surprises me, that, he came out, Mark Carney came out with the Liberals' costed platform, and there again, I should have looked before the podcast, but I think it was like $60 billion a year or something in deficits, and that's just, it's not sustainable. It's not healthy.
I think the Conservatives were going to be $110 billion next year. I think theirs were like 180 or something.
Irregardless, you cannot. It's no different than your personal budget. You cannot perpetually spend more than you make. You will have serious consequences down the road, and nobody in our society lives like that anymore. We live in
governments the last 20 years certainly haven't operated that way.
No, and they have the most freedom to do that, to be fair. Like, so a federal, that's what people don't even understand. Like, the government creates money. So like they create the money supply, especially the US government, but even the Canadian government, they have the ability to sell bonds and to keep running deficits. But there's some point when the rest of the world doesn't buy your debt's considered crappy.
Yeah.
And just like in a mortgage situation where if you have crappy credit, you can't get a mortgage at a normal interest rate, at some point the government has that, right? And that's determined by the bond market. And most people probably don't even know what the bond market is. It's way bigger than the stock market, and it matters a lot. And I think that there will come a day where Canadians will care, and by that point it'll be too late. And it will be the children of the people that are voting for the parties now that are running deep deficits, right? So anyways, I think irregardless of any other policy, irregardless of where you stood on social issues, I can't see it people thinking that it's wise to perpetually spend more than you make. And that's why I struggle with having a Liberal Party win now, because it's more spending.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting this time because it looks like the Bloc will be the party that props them up.
They're a separatist party.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Exactly.
It's only in Canada. It's like, hey, Canada first, but we're going to join. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You should explain this. We do.
So
there's
6
people that listen to
that.
There's one lady from Texas for sure.
There's a party called the Bloc, and they're just a party in Quebec only, but they're
in one of our
party.
provinces.
Yeah, in one of our provinces, but they're a federal party, and so they get all their say just for their localized area, and for that reason, the Quebec has always taken a lot more money than all the other provinces.
And they run a candidate, I would assume, in every riding in Quebec, and they get varying amounts of seats won. I think this time it looked like they were at 23. I think they were more last time, but it's usually, I think, somewhere between 20 and 40. It was probably used to be a lot more in the 90s, I would assume.
Yeah.
So at one point, this is another bit of history for people in the U.S. that don't care about Canada, but I think it was in 1994 when I was a kid, they voted on whether they were going to separate, and they barely won to stay. Now, most of us would maybe wish they had left, because they are what we would be derogatorily call a have-not province. They're not using their resources well. They spend a lot, and they get a lot of health transfers sent from the federal government, so they do get a lot of money.
It'd be like their party in Texas joining the Republicans and the Democrats.
Say that again.
It'd be like a party in Texas forming, and in the Americans' two-party system. Basically, that kind of idea.
Yeah, they have basically their own, and because of the way our federation is set up, and that's what I just find fascinating, that, you know, we have our government now, our federal government that's formed, and the balance of power is going to a party.
Yes.
That's sole goal is for one province, and we're going to call this. Well, where I was going with this is that the Liberal Party in particular ran on fear mongering of, you know, the
Trump.
idea of Trump. You know, like, get behind us. Mark Carney is, you know, has.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed that episode and were blessed by it, would you be willing to support the show? That would help a lot in creating more content, improving the quality of the content, putting the production value, getting more guests on, and me being able to spend more time and energy towards it. So if you're interested in doing that, you can click up here and it'll take you to a support page. But you can also subscribe to the podcast by clicking over here and doing that. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.